Nothing like a bit of strangulation to get the circulation flowing.
Welcome to my review for Child's Play 3. There will be some mild spoilers, but I've decided I'm not going to tiptoe around the plot for films this old. You know, if it was something twist-dependent like The Sixth Sense, maybe, but as it is, no. So let me just say that I really enjoyed this third instalment of Child's Play. I keep waiting for the quality to dip in this series, and so far it's not happened, and we're up to part 3. I was really extremely impressed, and I have no negatives really for this film. One or two little queries and questions, most of them at the start. So for instance, the way that they bring Chucky back, at the end of number 2, his melted, burned body is sort of cast aside into this storeroom and just left there for years because the toy company shuts down production of the good guy because of bad publicity. Wouldn't they just throw him away? Why keep him in a storeroom when he's just, you know, been burned and melted to nothing? So that was kind of an odd thing. And then finally they go back into production again, and instead of just building more good guys from scratch, they get the melted remains of Chucky and use that as the basis to mould their first one for the next batch. It's not sure that they would do it that way, but there you go. And also, this is 1992, isn't it? I mean, Mario and Sonic are surely out by this point. Why would you go back into good guy production? So a few things at the start, but I guess we need this stuff to just get the movie going, so it's okay, you know. This film takes place in a military academy for the youth. This isn't something we have in the UK, so it confused me a little bit when the movie started. I mean, is this something that still happens in America today? What's the point of it? Is it for delinquents and kids who don't get foster homes straight away? I don't really understand it. The drill instructors really get into these kids to almost as if they're proper soldiers, but they're not going to be sent to Iraq or anything. So I don't know. I was a little bit confused as to what the setup is with that, not being an American myself. And one of the characters, quite early on, just backchats the drill sergeant, almost as if she knows that there's not going to be any proper punishment because they're not real soldiers. And she's quite right to do so. So a bit of an odd thing. But let's get into the positives. And definitely my first one is the fact that Andy Barclay is now almost an adult, which is great. I said in my review for the second film that I was getting a little bit tired of seeing a child go against Chucky. I wanted to see older people go against Chucky, give him more of a challenge. So here we've gone forward a few years and we now have Andy, played by Justin Whalin, as an adult. It's great. I really enjoyed Justin Whalin's performance. I looked him up after the film and realised that he was the kid who went on to be in the Superman TV show in the 90s. I didn't recognise him when I was watching Child's Play 3, but yeah, I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. So that was kind of cool. There is another child who replaces the child Andy for this film. I think he's called Ronald, but he's not annoying, you know. And he's not like the main character. And he does have a relationship with Chucky the doll quite early on in the film, which is different. We've not seen somebody have a friendship with Chucky yet, so I really enjoyed those scenes. They were funny. I had a big smile on my face watching these two have this sort of mini friendship. It doesn't last, but it was good while it lasted. There's no return of Kyle, a character I really liked from the second film. A bit disappointed once I realised that was going to be the case, but she is more than replaced by De Silva, played by Perrey Reeves. I thought she was amazing in this film. Good actress, well-written part. I just thought she was absolutely terrific. And again, somebody else I looked up on Wiki after the film and discovered I've seen her before in an episode of The X-Files called 3, and I remember watching that episode back in the day and thinking, that actress is really good. So, yeah, unfortunately, in looking her up on Wiki, I realised that she's not in any more Child's Play films after this one, but for this film alone, she's absolutely fantastic. She's just the right balance of mischievous and good, if you like, with the way that she sort of singles out Andy as somebody that she'd really like to get to know, but I really enjoyed the performance. Another character who's really good is the barber. There's this really bizarre guy of about 50 who's playing this military barber. He's got his own little in-house barber shop at the academy, and he takes great delight in shaving the heads of these kids when he thinks that they desperately need to have their crew cut done again. And I just thought he was brilliant as sort of a little comedy character who does a few scenes. Keep an eye out for him if you've not seen the film. He was extremely good. I do like the settings in this film as well. The Academy itself, not the obvious choice for a Child's Play movie. I would have thought I wouldn't have come up with it if I was in the writing room trying to think of a new Child's Play plot line, but it was a really good fit for Chucky, actually. And then we've got scenes in the woods, and then we've got scenes in the fairground. As soon as I saw that fairground, I thought, oh yes, please let the finale be in the fairground. That'd be awesome. And it was. And even better, it was in a ghost train ride. I love ghost train rides. Having said that, it was, the finale in the ghost train was a little bit turgid in terms of how it flowed. And there is this, what I would call a convenient death fan that just happens to be there. As soon as I saw this fan, I thought, why would there be a big dangerous fan that's lying on its side like that anybody could fall in? You know, it was obvious that Chucky was going in that thing, but health and safety risk, come on. I mean, but yeah, I love seeing the new ways that the writers can come up with to sort of kill Chucky at the end of these films, whether it's slicing and dicing him or burning him or melting him. It's just, you know, you're going to get something good at the end of each one, and this one definitely did not disappoint. In terms of Chucky himself, I think he was more entertaining in this film than even the first two. He's just getting so many good funny lines now, straight from the beginning of the film as well. The one I did in my prologue, absolutely hilarious. I'm not sure I quoted it exactly word for word, but I enjoyed that one. And also, don't fuck with the Chuck. I've heard that line before, even though I've never seen this movie before, just the other night. So somebody must have said it, or I've seen it in clips, or maybe I saw somebody wearing a t-shirt with it somewhere, but I'm very familiar with that quote, even though I've never seen this movie before. Now I was like, oh yeah, there's that quote. As soon as he said it. So, kills in this film, I think there's more of them in this. They've definitely upped to the body count, I think. The first two films only had a few kills. This one's definitely got more, I think. They're not all good. I mean, a couple of the kills in the woods are kind of boring, but there's definitely a couple of standouts. The one with the garbage truck, love that one. And I'm surprised that they didn't show more of the grisly details. I would have liked to have seen the guy get churned up a little bit, call me sick or whatever, but, or at least, you know, get to see his arm lopped off. It's crazy that if you go on Child's Play 3 on Wikipedia, there's still this big section called Controversy where you can read about how this film supposedly influenced these child murders in the early 90s. But it's just ridiculous because this film, like the two films before it, they're not violent films at all. I can't even imagine in the early 90s these were considered that violent by people who actually sat down and watched them. And it's crazy to me that there was basically a blanket ban on these films being on British TV in the 90s when they would still show things like Silence of the Lambs, which is like 20 times more violent than this film. You know, but because it's a serious film, it's fine to show that one. But no, a doll running around, no, can't show that. But just crazy. But yeah, I would. I actually felt there should have been more violence in this film. You know, and sometimes I'm a guy who will, if you watch a lot of my reviews, sometimes you'll see me say for things like Terrifier, oh, that was too much. I think they should have toned it down. But for this film, I was like, no, give me more. You're just cutting away sometimes when the kills come on. But, you know, the garbage truck thing, really good. Although, again, health and safety, shouldn't there be like a switch inside the truck that the guy can flick if somebody gets trapped in there? I can't imagine a truck would actually be designed like that this could happen to somebody by accident, you know? The other kill I like is the one where the guy sort of has a heart attack just when he sees Chucky with the big knife. And Chucky comes out with that line, something like... oh, you've got to be kidding me. You know, it's just, I thought that was really funny that he was actually disappointed on missing out on a kill. But on the whole, I think this film is terrific. I really do. It was just a lot of fun from start to end. I think the quality has gone up. You know, I did enjoy the first two. I thought they were really good. I gave them good scores. But I think this is my standout so far. So let's get to the bag of terror. What score will we have for Child's Play 3? We've got 1 axe, 2, 3, 4. So 4 bloody axes for Child's Play 3 out of 5. That is a really excellent score. It almost got 4.5. I considered it, and probably it didn't, just because there's 1 or 2 moments where there's a little bit of lack of logic in some of the character actions, especially among the drill sergeants and managers and things. Like I said, the finale maybe could have been better, given the fact that they had the most amazing setting in the world. I don't think they quite nailed it. It was still fun, but not brilliant. So just misses out on getting to that next stage of 4.5. The first 2 movies, I also gave 4 bloody axes, but in that case, in both those cases, They were closer to getting 3.5. So even though all three of these films have got the same score, I still think the third movie is better. It just comes out in a weird way sometimes when you give films scores. But I'm definitely really enjoying this series. I'm looking forward to the next one, Bride of Chucky, I believe. That should be interesting. Presumably, Chucky gets a girlfriend who is also a doll. It sounds like it's going to be hilarious, so I'm looking forward to it. But until next time, cheerio, bye bye.